Natalie, I have to ask you a question. What's your number one wish list item in an SUV?
Hey, Scotty. Ooh, in an SUV. Well, I need all the space. So I want to have enough rows to fit everybody and everything.
And my number one request is a natural space for my handbag, not a hook, not a place to hang it where it flops around and I can't reach it. Natural space where I can drop it and go.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my number one request for any car. Because you know what happens is it goes on the floor, my kids step on it, or it falls over, it falls off the seat. I once went, can't believe I did this. I thought I was going to die. My purse fell over in the car and my AirPod case fell out. And
No.
I got out of the car and I went off to TSA and walked through security and got on a plane. And I went on a 5-day trip with no AirPods. I thought I was going to die. And no, you need a natural place where your handbag's not going to spill. Nobody's going to step on it. It's easy to reach. It's protected. And that's what I love about our guest today, Stephanie Ernster. She is an engineer at General Motors. She led the product planning process for the new Buick Enclave as well as the GMC Acadia. She's over both of those. And her job is phenomenal. I mean, talk about like dream job. She gets to take this big 3-row SUV and design it for you. Place for all your people and all your stuff. For me, a place to put my handbag. For your kids, a place to put your phone, a place to charge your phone, a place to put your huge Stanley cup, a way, seats that slide back and forth so you could slide them back a little bit and recline. The GMC is a little more utilitarian, and they used to call it professional grade, but I think of it as like easier to clean up and wipe down, like just more rugged and more durable. And the Enclave is more elegant and refined, more fashion driven or style driven. But she had to think of everything. And I think she did.
She planned well in this one.
She really did. So let's stop talking about it and let's get to the discussion. Please welcome our guest today, Stephanie Ernster of General Motors. Hi, Stephanie.
Hello.
Congratulations on your newest baby.
Finally, everyone gets to see it.
Yeah, everyone gets to see it. How long have you been working on the Buick Enclave?
I would say probably a year and a half. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so tell us, before we dive into this car, tell us what you do, because I have to say, you said this yesterday, and I had trouble following because there's a lot.
Yeah, well, my team is responsible for a lot. So I am the vehicle performance manager for all crossovers. This Buick Enclave is one of many of the programs that my team supports. So we are performance integration, which basically all the pieces and all the technology that everybody wants to have in the vehicle and all the ideas coming together, we need to make sure that they perform the way that the customer is expecting them to.
And when you say all crossovers, what do you mean?
So
name them all.
So I have the Enclave, I have the Traverse, I have the Acadia, I have the Equinox, and I have the Terrain, and those are all my ICE vehicles. And then I have the Equinox EV and the Blazer EV.
Wow, that's quite the I don't know how you keep things sorted.
Yeah, it's a lot, and all of the programs are very unique, which is good for the customer. Mm-hmm. A lot of work for the team, but when you get into a vehicle and you're experiencing it and you're sitting in it and you know this is a Buick, it makes it all worth it.
And I will say, so I've driven them all now.
Mm-hmm.
This is the last one that I've driven, and the differentiation is pretty incredible. There are a lot of things that you did in this car that I was kind of surprised to see, because I thought, oh, it's going to be a dress-up.
I've already done it.
Chevrolet or dress-up or slightly different Acadia, but that's not the case at all.
No, they're different from the inside out. Buick has their significant things that they like to do. Obviously, the screen on this one is breathtaking.
Mhm.
And it's unique, right?
Uh-huh.
And the colors and the combinations that they do are definitely unique. For me personally and our team, we're more of the behind the scenes stuff that you might not necessarily see, but like you say, driving it, you're like, huh, this is different than the other ones. Buick definitely has a lot of standard features, up level acoustics, thicker glass, active noise cancellation throughout, 12 speaker Bose. The Avenir that we're in right now has 16, so it has the speakers even in the doors. So just premium everything about it.
Well, and it feels so good. And so tell us how you approach something like that kind of, and how do you differentiate between trims? So preferred and ST and Avenir, where do you draw the line on certain things?
Well, the nice thing about, again, with only 3 trims, right? Because we used to have 4, and that was getting a little bit cloudier. And what we found is everybody really liked the ST, and so we made that its own trim, got rid of the other trim, and kind of streamlined things. The nice thing with Buick is on that preferred package, there are so many standard features, right? You already have your heated seats. You already have your, up level this, ambient lighting, all those, bells and whistles. And the Avenir just brings it another level. And then with the ST, it's kind of like you get all that with a little bit of that sport packaging, right? You've got the flat steering wheel and just like some styling cues that personally I think I'm like a lot of people are drawn to. They like that ST.
Yeah, it is really sporty.
Yeah.
It is really sporty. We drove that this afternoon, and it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
So what do you drive?
So I right now am driving, well, I gave away, because I'm always in the next one. So right now I'm driving a Terrain because that's the next one we're launching. So I'm always like one step behind.
Yeah.
Or ahead, maybe.
Ahead, yeah. That's the Terrain is going to be pretty exciting.
Yes.
Pretty exciting.
Yes, very excited.
And so then what comes after that? Or did you get to like go on a nice long vacation?
I wish. Well, no, because we're already like, working on, the next version, the next upgrade, what's next, right?
So you are always thinking way ahead of
Always.
where, and so what do you look at when you're thinking of that far ahead? So you're probably thinking like 2, 3, 4 years in advance. What do you look at to know what to add or how to upgrade or what kind of technology? Like, where do you get that information?
So we have people that are truly working on the next level of technology, right? The next active safety feature, the next, how we're going to do the screen, where are we going to put everything. So that team kind of comes to us and says, hey, we're going to do the automatic lift gate. And then we go, okay, well, let's see how we're going to integrate that in. So they're kind of coming up, and then the program team will be like, yeah, I want these features. And then they bucket together, and then we integrate it and get it out there.
So if ignoring the cost factor of like what the eventual price is going to be, the wish list. How do you balance when some people say, oh, we want this kind of technology, and other people say, we want the really big wheels, and other people say, we have to have this, or the panoramic sunroof has to go all the way to the lift gate, or like, how do you balance those things?
It is a lot. I mean, I will be the first to admit that I wanted nothing to do with that center console floating like that. It was an engineering nightmare, but it's gorgeous, and we did it. But
you can put your handbag there.
It is gorgeous,
gosh,
and it's I love it. But I say to the designers all the time, I was wrong, you were right. But it was things like that that's what we do is we make that, we're problem solvers, right? So we take that and go, we can't do it. All right, let's figure out how we're going to do it. So that's what we do.
And so you were able to get the bigger wheels, keep the fuel economy still in, above 22 mpg, which is pretty important.
Yes.
Keep the ride quality really good, because that impacts that.
Yeah. So, obviously everybody always wants bigger tires. Bigger tires. Everybody wants bigger. Buick does at least a nice thing where it's just a 20 and just a 22, so thank you, Buick. But yeah, it's still very important because yes, everybody wants that, but they also want the ride. They don't realize what they possibly could be given up when they go bigger. And for us, when we put that 22 on the Avenir, well, that customer doesn't want to give up that ride comfort, right? So then that's when we have to add in the CDC dampers, right? So we want to make sure that we're still maintaining that excellent ride comfort regardless of what tire they've got.
Which is continuously dampening control.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
So, and that's what keeps the ride
Yes,
comfortable and not feeling like you're being tossed around.
correct. And the fact that you're on 22s, yeah.
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 So, tell me how you got into this job. Where did this? Were you always a car girl?
No. I will admit, no. I was never really a car girl. I didn't grow up around cars. I really liked my math and science. Very much enjoyed that. Went to college thinking I was going to be a math teacher. Decided that I could not teach. Didn't have the patience for that. Met with a counselor. They talked to me about engineering. I'm like, sounds perfect. It's math, it's science, it's problem solving. I got my first co-op assignment with General Motors when I was 19, and here I am today, 28 years later. So, and it's to me, it's about the problem solving. You could give me just about anything, and I'd like to work on it. I think where my passion is because of the crossovers. That's where I feel comfortable in landing because I am a mom. Right, so I am not going to probably be able to give you the performance of your Corvette because I'm not that customer. I don't understand that customer. But when I get in these vehicles and I'm driving them and I feel safe, I feel the ride isolation, then I know we've got a good product out there.
Yeah. And so, how old are your kids?
So I've got 24-year-olds that are twins, and then my baby is 19 at Michigan State. Yeah.
And so, you're. And boys, girls?
The twins are boys, and then Abby's a girl.
So 2 boys and a girl. What do you want your kids, all of them, to take away from your career? Because you've clearly worked their entire lives.
Yes, I did. Yes. I was part-time for a while. When they were little, I went to part-time because I wanted to spend more time with them. But yeah, it definitely is easier to work the long hours and everything because nobody's at home right now. So that's what I do. You know what? I want them to know that they can do anything. I do want them to always remember, though, that it's not all about work, right? Like, there's that point where you're working because you want the money so that you can live, and then all of a sudden you're working and you're not living. And so I want them to always remember to think about that.
And what about what drives you, the passion that you bring to this? Do you see that in them?
Yeah, I mean, my sons are engineers, so yeah, they definitely have that. They're more the computer science, which, that is not what I do, so I don't understand what they do. But I see it. I see they're definitely, math-based children. Even my daughter, who's going into business, very much accounting, math, figures, everything is very organized. And but for me, what drives me to come to work every day and want to do what I'm doing is honestly the people and then the products that we produce, right? Like yes, these are long days. We're sitting in cars all day, but I get to talk about the thing that we've been working on and I love, right? And so that makes it easier.
So were you mentored in your career?
Yeah, I actually had several mentors along the way. Some probably more around being a woman in engineering because that's fun. And then just one that kind of is more looking out for me as my career progressed. I feel like that's always good to have somebody kind of looking out for you because sometimes you feel like maybe maybe I don't want to do that, and they kind of push you like you should try that, go out of your comfort zone. And I would say that that's probably the best advice I would give is go out of your comfort zone because if you're too comfortable for too long, you're not growing. And sometimes you kind of fall into that just like everything's okay, well, that it might be time for a little push. So sometimes you need it from somebody else.
So what was your first job? I know you said you joined the co-op, you were in 19, but what was your first full-time job at GM?
Noise vibration.
Noise
I
and
did
vibration.
yeah, ironically, right? Because that's why I love the Buick Enclave. Noise vibration. I did noise and vibration for about 15 years before I started moving into the program sides of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what does that mean, noise and vibration?
So we basically did all the upfront work on the contenting strategy. What makes a Buick level, right? Setting up what size, what thickness dash mat. The fact that on a Buick you get this level of acoustic glass and that kind of stuff. That's all kind of done up front through the noise vibration centers, and then we then integrate that into the vehicle.
So
I
they
did
look
all
at
that.
all the different components, the metal panels on the outside, and how things fit together, and
making sure the
that
structure is right. Yeah,
there's no air coming in to make vibration or noise. Wow.
Yeah, so I did that for a while, and I did structure borne, so like the structure of the vehicle, which is very important because if you don't have really good structural feel, the ride and handling can only do so much. And then the acoustics, so basically all the absorption, all the materials inside the vehicle get measured for absorption or sound transmission loss, and I ran the lab that did all that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. I loved it.
It's crazy that there's that much thought into something that we as a customer, we go, oh, it's really quiet.
Yeah. It's really, really quiet. Yeah. No, there's a lot of work that goes into it. Yeah. And I mean, the wind noise, right? It squeaks and rattles, all of that kind of stuff. That's what the customer experiences, right? And so you can have a really, really quiet vehicle and it's got a little itch somewhere, and that's exactly what you're going to hear. And if it's a really quiet vehicle, that's really what you're going to hear because it's going to stand out.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. And is that more challenging on electric cars?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
What else do you have to think about when it comes to an electric car? Like, do you have to add more layers of sound dampening?
Placing the materials in different spots. So, typically we always are worried about the front of dash, the engine, because on a nice vehicle, that's the loudest. Now it's usually drive units, right? So it's trying to make sure that the drive unit is isolated.
The motor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of different, You definitely are more sensitive to the road noise and the wind noise and the squeaks and rattles because you don't have the masking of that engine noise.
Right, like white noise.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. I guess the thing that I take away from electric cars is like the whirring noise or the pedestrian alerts, the sort of backup sound and that kind of thing. But it's and you do hear the tires. I feel like I always hear the tires on the pavement. But other than that, it's kind of like driving, like here, like I can even hear the hum of the engine in this car, which you don't hear in an electric car. It's just totally silent.
Yeah. Well, if we do our job right, yes. yes, for sure.
So I know you said you're driving the Terrain. Tell me what your favorite feature is in the Enclave.
Okay. I would say that I am a big component of the screen and the fact that it's configurable. I love the fact that I can have, I'm very big on having my camera as a hot button, right? So I know that it's right there, but I always pull it to the side so that it's right there. And when I'm parking, I don't have to be in reverse. I can still see where I am in that spot. To me, I love that idea of it, and I love the fact that I can configure my screen to be whatever I want. If I want to see my tire pressure over here, I see my tire pressure. If I want to see my nav, and I basically can configure it any way I want, and that to me is nice. And there's so many features on these vehicles, but it's all configurable. So just like lane keep assist, some people like it, some people don't, so you turn it off. Everything is configurable.
Well, and you do have a button right there on the screen that allows you to turn it off. So there's some things that are on the screen that I'm wondering. So you're probably a couple of years into a lot of this function, because some of these things are on Chevrolet. I know I saw some of these on some of the other cars, like the headlights being on the screen. Why take the headlights away and not have a button and put them on the screen?
Yeah, the decisions on what made it to be virtual and what still remained actual buttons is definitely unique and different on every vehicle, right? Some vehicles like this, we have the mode, drive modes is still a button. Some of them, are virtual buttons and you go into the drive modes. So everything is kind of different. It kind of depends on the program and where they wanted things. Everybody still felt like they wanted a combination of buttons, especially around the HVAC type area. So we've always still kind of maintained that.
And radio volume.
If
you have teenagers, you know the pain.
Yes. But that reminds me of another feature that I'm going to say, and I know everyone's going to be like, yeah, sure. But I'm an Android Auto person, right?
Oh, you are?
I love my Android Auto. However, using that Google Assistant has kind of changed my mind on it. And only because of all of the features that you can do that you can't do on your phone. Like the fact that I can say, turn up my volume, turn on my heated seats, all kinds of features that my phone can do, my map and some of my music, but it can't do any of the other things. And so I really find that it's kind of become like almost a little safety feature. I am not looking for the buttons. I'm not looking for anything. I'm driving, change my station.
I totally agree. And sometimes I get in the car with people and they're like hunting and pecking in the screen. And I say, you're not doing it right. Hey Google.
Exactly. And there it goes. Yep.
Nope, that didn't yet. Hey Google. There she is. There she is too.
I love it. It's like, I feel like it's become a safety feature for me because my hands, I don't have to be there. If I'm in Super Cruise, man, I don't have to do anything with my hands. I'm just sitting there and I'm like drinking my coffee, paying attention and telling turn on my heated seats and away we go.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I love it. I think that I love voice activated assistants. If it's Hey Google or whatever it is. It tends to be a Google, I think, more than almost anything else, but
I do.
Yeah. But I love it. What feature in this car and any other cars that you work on, would you say to a customer, don't get the car without this? What do you think is the biggest must-have?
Well, I think we've done a really good job now of having side blind zone as one of our standard safety features.
Okay.
I know as a corporation we went with lane keep assist first as standard on everything, but now side blind zone is one. I think that I don't think I could buy a vehicle, especially for my children, without it. Right? I think that is such a big safety feature, and the fact that now we've made it enhanced. Where before you turn on your turn signal and it essentially turned off, right? And now it will still nudge you, even with your turn signal saying, hey, no, there's still somebody there. So I think it's just, to me, that's one of those ones I don't think I could buy a vehicle without it. And adaptive cruise, for sure, I can't live without. But once you experience Super Cruise, especially with the lane changing feature, it's all the things that you were like, well, yeah, but now I'm doing adaptive cruise, but I'm behind the guy that's going 10 miles below, and you kind of are lulled into it. And now you're like, no, it's changing lanes for you.
Yeah, it did that to me today, where I had just put it on, and then I was behind a truck, and the truck was going slow, and I had just put it on, but I'd set it at the speed limit. And it just changed lanes and went on, and I was like, "Oh, look! It just did that."
Yeah, and it tells you it's doing it, so you've got time to decide whether you want to or not. But yeah, and it will get you right back into that lane, and so it's really nice. Yeah.
It is really nice, and to be able to offer Super Cruise
across all three trims, yes.
Yeah, and across so many vehicles in the GM family now. It's it was for so long. It was such a exclusive thing to Cadillac and the Bolt.
Or just the up-level trims, right? Like Buick now, I mean, you can get your preferred, you can get your ST, you can get it on all the trims. And I think that's important because the more people that have it, I think the safer the roads are going to be.
Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I want to ask you one last question before we go.
Okay.
And that is, what advice would you have to a woman or to a young woman who wants to have a career in automotive?
Don't be afraid to do it. You can totally do it.
Don't be afraid to do it. Okay. Thank you, Stephanie.
You're welcome.
Wow. Hearing what she brings to the table, that so many well-meaning, intelligent, thoughtful men could never, because they're not in the space that we're in. They're not in the car every day with their kids. They're not in the car trying to do 8 things at once the way we often are. Oh, wait, I need to stop at CVS and pick this thing up. Oh, I have a craft project for homework. And, oh, I still need to get dinner. And like all the things that we're thinking of as we're getting in the car at the end of the day, and everything needs to be done all at once. And so we know what that stress is like. Stephanie knows that stress. She's been there. And I think that is what strikes me as so important, that to have someone like her designing and building these cars.
Definitely, because having a woman mindfully designing and planning it out, what does that look like? That's why these cars are so popular, because they're thinking of our everyday routine. Like I'm thinking about, okay, I got to pick up, I got to go here, I got to go to there. Where do I put my purse? Where do I grab it? Where do I charge my phone? Like, where does everything go? And it makes it easier too for the little ones in the back. Like that way they're not complaining too. Everyone has a thing, they can store their stuff. You can sit mindfully, and it just has a better experience. Like they could never, like I talk to my husband all the time about that. I'm like, where would you put this? He's like, exactly. Cause you don't know. You just think, just toss it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no.
I know men who walk around with nothing but a couple of little things in a pocket. Right. And they're like, if it doesn't fit in my pocket, it doesn't go with me. And sorry, the kids' homework does not fit in my pocket, but I still don't get to leave it at home. Right. I don't get to go without it, right? What else I really loved is the color of that interior that we were in.
Ooh.
And that's another thing that Stephanie and her team have really embraced, is offering real life interiors. Remember back in the day, every interior was like black or brown.
Yeah, no other option.
No other option. And I feel like that was a very, machismo or macho driven trend. Men, they just like a black interior. There's an idea that black is the color of authority. Right. And so when you have a black interior or a black car, it says, I'm authoritative. I know what's going on. I'm here to lead you. And I think a lot of people like it because it doesn't show the dirt. So, you get a little mud or dirt or whatever on the carpet, you're not going to see it, which is, I think that's a valid point, but you don't need black all over. You just need black on the lower surfaces where dirt would collect naturally, right? I love that Buick offered those beautiful interiors, and it was so nice to sit in that car and have a conversation. That is the best place ever to do a podcast, is in a car.
We live there all the time, but it's like stylish, and it feels more unique and like bespoke to like your vibe. It's not just like, I'm in charge, I'm the gearhead, it's all black. It's like, okay, I mean, I understand as a mom, like, the cleaning thing, but we want to have something cute and sophisticated. Like, why not?
Yeah. Like your background.
I
love your background. I love your background. I love all the pink. I love the light. I love the things. I love the little strawberries and the, all the things, all the hearts in your background. And you've made that space your own. Why should your car be somebody else's space that you have to force yourself into? And I love that Stephanie and her team are thinking about it that way.
Exactly.
All right. Steph, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this conversation with Stephanie Ernster. And thanks for joining us for What Drives Her, the podcast that talks to women who are changing the automotive industry from the inside. You can find all of our podcasts wherever you subscribe to your podcast, over on our YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple, you name it, we're there. You can subscribe right here, subscribe to our newsletter as well. You'll get a podcast in your inbox every week if you do that, and be sure to follow along on our social channels. I'm Scotty Reese, your host, with Natalie Marola, our co-host and producer. Our editor is Steph Howard. Our music is by Envato Elements. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.